Hey, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about video ideas and especially showing you guys how I come up with video ideas for our channels and how we can improve the video ideas for our channels as a whole. Now, the first and I think really kind of core concept to understand is that at the end of the day, a very small minority of video ideas are actually fully original. Some of my best videos, best ideas ever are completely just ideas that I got from somewhere else. And that's really kind of just how it goes. People talk about these concepts like steal like an artist. At the end of the day, that's just part of the game, I think. We have to do what we can to come up with the best ideas possible for our videos. So first of all, I want to talk about just, straight up copying ideas. Now, straight up copying ideas for the most part is actually really not that great. For the most part, it's not so much, I'm not focused on, is it moral, is it right to do, but it's more so just like, for the most part, copying ideas doesn't really work, right? The problem with copying ideas is that for the most part, if you copy an idea, you're just going to end up being an inferior version of something that already exists. And why would anybody want to watch that? It just doesn't make sense. Nobody should watch that. But there is a couple examples where copying ideas is actually okay and can work really well. And first of all, let's talk about this. So, on our Minecraft channel, we have this kind of revenge series, like getting trapped in a prison. So I got revenge, I got trapped, my friend stole my pet, so I got revenge, etc. We really went hard on this series. This was probably our core content for about a year and a half. Did extremely well. You could see just crazy views numbers here. And this idea was totally copied from someone else, actually. It was copied from this guy, AJ the Bold. And I got the idea from this video here. My friends killed my Minecraft dog and I got revenge. Now we have to understand, why did copying this guy work? If you take a look at his channel, he posted this video 1 year ago. Does it say when? On January 18th. So January 18th, this was his next revenge video. He posted a bunch of random stuff and then he has this revenge storyline video on February, so a month later, about, he has another one. He's got a few here where he did a few, did a couple in a row, which was, good for him. But really what kind of happened is he had this like whole series that was doing really well. But there's a couple things you can kind of notice here. We had the idea like after he kind of finished his main series, which was more so like, because we started the revenge series around, I believe, February 2021. I think this was his most recent video. But basically, like what you can see in these videos, right, is, so this February he did pretty well. He was uploading a lot. But apart from this February where he posted like 8 videos, a really big thing was he wasn't really posting that much. Like he was posting, after February, he was posting like just a couple videos per month, roughly. I think it was like he was doing 2 videos a month or so. And then secondly, you can see all these videos are really short, like 48 seconds, 2 minutes, 18 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. They're all very short. This is his original one, is the only one that's like really, a good chunk of length, except I guess this one, which came way later. But the idea here, the reason why copying this person worked was for 2 reasons. Number one was we were able to significantly improve on the format, because he's doing these tiny little short videos that are just super kind of joke videos almost to a certain extent, where they're just not really that serious. They just kind of has like one little moment and then that's the whole video. But for us, you can see our videos are like 10, 12, 8 minutes long at least. So we really just kind of expanded on what he was already doing. And then secondly, the fact that he wasn't posting that much, I think was really impactful for us being able to take his ideas and do well with it. If he was posting, multiple times a week, it probably wouldn't have worked. I think if you're going to take someone's ideas directly, it needs to be an idea that is not oversaturated. And for me, when I saw this, I essentially just kind of looked at this. I was like, hey, this guy's he had 10 million views on this video at the time. He's getting 10 million views. He's not posting, but the video has 10 million views. There's clearly an audience for this style of content. Why don't we try it out? So we tried it out. The first video blew up, and then eventually we just kind of built the entire channel around this concept and became the #1 revenge channel on YouTube for Minecraft. And that kind of leads me into my just one other point, is just if you have an idea, if you ever at any point have a video idea that works, you immediately want to just double down extremely hard on it. That's really just going to be the best way to go. So we have another example here of one of our new channels. This is kind of like our Pokemon channel. It's really new. You can see 500 subscribers, right? But we recently had this video blow up of just like the top 10 most overpowered Pokemon. It's doing really well for a channel this size. Obviously, the channel's still really new, but it's just, it's solid. And so from there, this did really well. So now the next videos, we're just going to immediately just start spamming these top 10 lists. This video was posted like literally 5 minutes ago, but, that's just kind of representing the idea there that if an idea works, you want to double down really hard. The next thing I think is really important for coming up with ideas. Obviously, you don't want to just be copying ideas. And for the most part, the vast majority of situations, like 95% of situations, copying ideas doesn't actually work. Again, we're not really considering here whether or not it's okay to copy ideas. I'm just strictly talking about getting results for your channel. Most of the time, copying does not work and will not work, and you shouldn't really expect it to work. But it is just a starting point. It's a starting point to get a little bit of inspiration, because the vast majority of ideas that I come up with personally are essentially just ideas that are mixed in and sort of inspired by other people, but are not fully original. So for example, like, a lot of the ideas here that we might have are kind of just like we take ideas from other channels and just rework them in a way that it makes it different, right? So if you're taking ideas from someone else, you either have to be better than them or you have to be different. And obviously being different is actually generally easier than being better. On this channel, and this is especially true for gaming channels in general, we have these concepts, a lot of these ideas that are just straight up kind of taken from someone else. But with gaming channels especially, taking ideas from other people works really well, because essentially what you can do is you just look at other games, and you can look at games that are similar to the game that you're making videos about, and essentially just look at those ideas and say, hey, how can I do this with this game that I'm making videos about? And it works really well because individual games have very separate audiences. Like people that watch Valorant don't really care about, other games, other things like that. So this entire channel is very much, we have a big series of these kind of versus battles of like, we take a whole bunch of really good players and give them some crazy disadvantage or condition and put them against a bunch of really bad players and see who wins. It's a lot of really fun experiments. It's like probably about 80% of our ideas on this channel. And this is something that we got from a League of Legends channel way back in the day. We first did this kind of idea style with Overwatch like 4 years ago, but way back in the day, this channel was kind of where we got the inspiration from. Ghostalane, he did these videos in League of Legends where he had these kind of like challengers, just really good players versus, not so good players with like kind of funny or crazy modifiers, or just a lot of times just straight up like one really good player versus 5 really bad players is like a really interesting concept. And we just kind of build on that. We say, hey, this guy's doing it for League of Legends. We can do it for Valorant, and it'll be really fun to watch. And it's really cool. And that's how we got quite a lot of these ideas. So really, it's important to just research and understand really the whole overall space of YouTube, like researching YouTube and video ideas as much as possible. Like at the end of the day, to come up with good video ideas, you really just have to spend a lot of time working on it. For me, I spend so much time. I spend more time working on video ideas than almost anything else, just because so much of it is just researching other channels, seeing what other people are doing, seeing how you can take ideas from other people, but rework them in a way that's different, but still works really well and makes an entertaining viewer experience. Speaking of viewer experience, I think when it comes to ideas, like really you got to just be thinking about like, at its core, a video idea essentially comes down to just the entertainment factor for the viewer. Like what is the entertainment value that the viewer gets from watching the video? Now, a lot of these, in our Valorant channel, we have a lot of like just very interesting gameplay situations that are, people want to see who wins, you want to see who's better. The gameplay is really fun to watch. With our Minecraft channel, we have like these kind of stories of just like, people want to see Baked escape this really cool prison, or just some cool mechanics, like interesting conflicts and stuff like that. But we also have, our Pokemon channel with like these kind of info videos of just like, these are sort of more kind of like guide, tips and tricks kind of stuff. And when you have this sort of info content, as I like to call, you want to focus more on, what is the value you can provide to the viewer? Like what is the most valuable information that a viewer that plays Pokemon Scarlet and Violet wants to understand? Like, okay, so that's why this video did so well, is because knowing what is the most powerful Pokemon in the game is an extremely valuable piece of information for someone who plays the game, right? So from there, you kind of think about like, okay, what are the things that a player who is in this genre of content wants to know? What is the most useful thing that they could learn or could use that's not immediately obvious? And stuff that's the most powerful, the best. People want to be the best, the greatest, the quickest, the fastest, the easiest. With info content, I always like to think about, you got to think about, it either comes down to urgency or results or like speed in some way, like doing something that's really important the fastest way, or doing something like what's the most useful thing, what's the most powerful thing in the game, or what is something you have to do immediately before you do anything else that's really important, stuff like that. And really just kind of research about the game. Like I remember when I made League of Legends videos, I had so many amazing ideas, and a lot of the times I would just come down to basically just, way back in the day, this is a really old channel by the way, but a lot of it would just come down to like, I would essentially just research the game so heavily, and I would just find as much information as possible. I write down everything. Like you always need to be writing down everything. Like you can never forget just even one little piece of an idea, because bad ideas lead into better ideas that lead into ideas that are worth making. And things combine and mix and, recategorize and everything. So anyways, I was researching so much about the game, and I was finding so much of just like developers posting on Twitter and Reddit. And I remember there was this one developer in the game that would stream on Twitch, and he had like 10 viewers, and I would go into his stream and just say like, hey, what's something that you did really cool with this champion when you made them? And then he would tell me a little bit of information, and then I would just make a video about it. And I probably got like 50 million views just from doing that in terms of video ideas. So, just investigating, researching is really important. You got to try to find what's a way that you can find information that other people don't have access to, that other people aren't, other people don't know about. Talking to developers of the game is a really great way to do that for gaming channels. For stuff that's not gaming channels, it's obviously a lot harder. You have to just have a really good knowledge and expertise in the genre, in the category. Think about things that are just like, just got to think about what's the most valuable thing that you can teach someone and work backwards from there and make videos on it. But yeah, so most of our ideas with gaming especially, it's really easy to do because you can just look at other games. But with stuff that's not gaming, you can still do, you can still take ideas that are from other genres, other categories. Like we're kind of working on these like IRL ideas a lot. And a lot of these actually came from like Minecraft videos, where we were doing this Minecraft format where we were just testing out TikToks and trying it in game, and it was really entertaining. So I said, hey, why don't we just do that in real life? So we could do that with like life hacks, for example. We could do it with real life money making methods like finance stuff. We could do it with like tech hacks, and then kind of expand on things from there. So really coming up with ideas just comes down to researching as many channels as possible, and then reworking the ideas. Or maybe you have like you could take ideas from multiple categories and then combine them or remix them and make them into something your own that's new and still feels really good and is really entertaining to watch. Another way that's really important to come up with ideas, I think, is trend jacking, working on trends, covering trends. Following the news is always a really good one. Hype. Just anything that's kind of exciting that people care about is a good thing to focus on. And so I wanted to talk a little bit more about how to research things and where you can actually find stuff for that. So here we have this. This is a vidIQ. This is a plugin that people use for YouTube. I'm not going to go super in depth on vidIQ in this video, but we have this feature here. It's one of the paid features, so you do actually need the paid version. But if you're working with us, obviously we can get this for you. But we have this section here called Most Viewed. And what this allows you to do is search for something, and you can see what is the most viewed videos recently for those search terms. So here we're going to remove this country because that doesn't matter. And we don't care about views per hour. We want to look at views from the past 7 days. So here are the most viewed Minecraft videos in the last 7 days. Now, the only thing with this feature that kind of sucks is that it searches for title keywords. So it's only going to search for videos that have Minecraft in the title. So it's not fully representative of the niche, because obviously not everyone is going to put Minecraft in their title, but it just kind of gives you a good idea. But really what we want to be looking at here is channel subscribers. So here we can actually filter results by how many subscribers the channel has, because this guy, Luke the Noble, one of the biggest creators in Minecraft, him getting 5 million views is great on a video, but he has almost 5 million subscribers. So if we make a video idea from this, it's probably not going to do that well. It's, you know, it's like, it's doing really well for him, but it's doing well for him because he has such a big audience. So what we want to do is we want to look at ideas that are doing really well for smaller creators. And here we can start to get some really good ideas for things we could do for our channels. You can see this is a channel that has 5,000 subscribers. Now, if you have a channel with 5,000 subscribers and a video gets 400,000 views, it's like, okay, you're kind of onto something here. Like, this is some pretty good ideas. So this is a pretty crazy thing. It's like this animation channel. Animations obviously are going to be, you know, pretty much really good just because it's a very difficult video to reproduce. It's a difficult video to make. Like, this kind of stuff is like, you might spend a week or more animating on it. But we have other things here. You know, we've got like this kind of like prank video. So, hey, I could say like, okay, this guy is doing this taking off clothes prank. He's doing these prank videos in Minecraft. He's got 1,000 subscribers. It's doing really well for him. Totally blowing up. And okay, this is cool. Like, there's something here, you know, this sort of prank concept, like how can we rework that? So instead of doing a prank of taking off clothes, we could do a prank of like stealing all his items, or you could do a prank where you just, you know, turn him into a fish or something like that. Like, just this sort of like prank concept can be expanded upon, and you bring like new ideas to the situation. You know, that's really like how we would want to look at trends and find ideas, and just it's a really good way to research ideas, I think. Another really good way to trend jack is simply just making videos about other people, other YouTubers specifically, the most popular YouTubers in the niche. Like, this guy is already kind of doing it Mason. So here you can see he's kind of putting Mason in his titles. That's like actually kind of smart. Mason is probably the biggest, or at least is one of the most trending creators in Minecraft right now. It's a channel where they do like kind of similar sort of like prank style experiment, doing, you know, just messing around with your friends kind of stuff. This guy's probably one of the biggest channels in Minecraft right now, or at least like the one that's like the most growing. So, you know, making videos where we essentially make videos about Mason in some way. Like, for example, we could do a video where we're trying out stuff from his videos, or you could do a video where it's a storyline about him, or you could do a video where you're just talking about his videos and researching him as a creator, or just like trend jacking other people's names is just a really, really good concept for especially new channels. I think it's one of the best ways to grow. Yeah, the biggest thing as well with just video ideas is you just really got to be kind of organized with it. Like, you got to really just always write down all your ideas. And basically for us, we would usually come up with like 100 ideas, and we might make like 5 of them. So I could just give you a little preview here of like our Minecraft ideas, for example. So you could see we have all these crazy concepts, and you could pause the video if you want to like actually read it. But you can see we have literally like hundreds of ideas. Like, this is enough ideas to last like literally 2 years, but we're not going to make all these videos, obviously. You know, this is just like some ideas. We've got some other concepts for like some more hardcore, much more intense videos. And then we've got these like TikTok testing videos of these like different hacks and tricks. And we've even got a list of just like a million thumbnail ideas. And I could show you one other thing as well here. This is kind of like my past history of just every Minecraft idea I've ever come up with in my lifetime. And this list literally just goes on forever. Like, I'm so just aggressively writing down everything, because most of the time, once you have a big list of ideas, like, I can look back at these old ideas that I had and come up with like new ideas that are better and fit our new formats, just from coming up with like the old ideas. And from there, you know, the key is obviously you got to start with just coming up with ideas for your formats. But then once you have content formats, expanding from there is also really important, of just like doing new themes and branching out within the content formats. So another way that I actually was kind of crazy, but I got this from Mr. Beast, of just coming up with video ideas, is I have this thing over here. This thing right here, this is a dictionary that you can buy for about $20 on Amazon. And most specifically, this has a lot of pictures. So what I would do sometimes is, like, we have this, for example, like we have our Minecraft format of just like getting revenge on stuff, right? So what I would do is literally just flip through the dictionary and just look at the pictures of like, okay, here's a big ship. Like, oh, what if we did Baked gets abducted by pirates? You know, like just looking at these pictures it's so easy, right? Because you can flip through and you don't even have to read it or anything. You just look at the pictures. You can get more ideas from there. You know, how can you take this idea of like a thing that exists in the universe and make that into an entertaining format for what your overall content style is? You know, obviously not everything is going to work perfectly. And again, it's difficult to teach ideas like so specifically for certain things, because at the end of the day, like coming up with ideas is going to be different for every single channel. You know, I have this other document here where we talked about video idea strategy. This was more for like highlights, kind of community channel. Like we focus a lot on news, developer comments, updates, posts. So we would literally like stalk the developers of games on Twitter and Reddit, and you know, just sometimes forum posts and stuff. And just covering news is really good. Covering like new stuff, something new that comes up in the community. If it's like a new speed run or a new trick or a new technique was always really exciting. You know, if you want this document, definitely just message me. I could send it to you. This is kind of built more for highlights channels, not so much for the channels we're kind of making these days. But yeah, for IRL channels, definitely it's been a little bit more of a new venture for us for coming up with ideas. Like it's something we've kind of been focusing on a lot. Like, but you got to really just think about like, what is your core content? What is the core entertainment value of your videos? So for us, it was like testing out TikTok stuff. And from there, you kind of think like, okay, how can we expand on that? How can we do new things? Like what can you do with a TikTok thing that would be interesting other than just testing it, right? Like instead of testing it, why don't we try doing something else? Like, why don't we try selling it? You know, instead of testing a food that is you found on a TikTok, why don't you make it and then sell it to someone else? And how could you sell it in a way that's interesting? Well, you could sell it on like Uber Eats. Like I use Uber Eats like almost every day, basically. You could sell it you could bring it to the homeless people. You could, you know, donate it to charity. You could bring it to a food bank. Like that would be amazing content. It's like we make all these crazy TikTok foods and we just bring it to a food bank or something like that. How can we build a story into it? Like you could say, okay, well, I'm just going to surprise my boyfriend or whatever to get revenge with these hilarious, like super disgusting TikTok foods. You know, so it's like, okay, you have good foods, you have bad foods. What can you do with the good foods? You know, you could sell it to people, you could donate it to charity, you could, you know, get strangers to try it, see what they think. What could you do with the bad foods? Well, you could use it to get revenge on your husband, or you could, you know, you could use it, you could just pay people to try it and see their reactions. Like you have to really just think very conceptually about what it is, the video that you're making, and really coming up with video ideas to a certain extent is kind of just like a muscle. And the more you work on it, the better at it you will get. I personally work on video ideas like almost every single day for probably like 10 years now. So I can just come up with ideas like crazy, honestly, if I just kind of sit down and really think about it. You know, thinking about things that are entertaining for a viewer to watch and then working backwards, and then, you know, doing a lot of research, getting ideas from other people and reworking them and remixing them. Like maybe you take, there's a certain ideas can be combined and changed into something else, like reworking things. You can copy ideas, but if you copy ideas, it has to either be better or it has to be different. And generally being different is way more doable. Being better than a video that did really well is generally quite difficult, actually. Unless that person is like, has a lot of problems with their content, like a lot of like very obvious flaws that can be improved upon. Yeah, you know, like when you're taking ideas from other people, you got to just add a twist to it, add something new to it, make it a little bit different, or combine ideas is generally usually the best way. With games, it's really easy because you can just look at games that are different to your niche. Like if you're making Valorant videos, you could look at CSGO channels. If you're making League of Legends videos, you could look at Dota channels. You know, if you're making Minecraft videos, it's a little bit trickier because, you know, Minecraft is like the most diverse game, but you could look at like Roblox channels, or even for just like Pokemon ideas, for example, with this channel, we can just look at creators from past Pokemon games, you know, see what people did before that they haven't done for the new Pokemon game before, right? You know, stuff that they did for like Pokemon, like old Pokemon games that hasn't been done for the new ones yet, you know. Another trick for researching your ideas is you can go to like an incognito mode. And what this will essentially do is reset your recommendations. my homepage is blocked because that's just how I like to work. But you know, you can look at your recommendations, and because your recommendations are going to be very tailored towards your actual search history and your account and everything. So you go on an incognito mode, so you get a fresh slate, and then you can just look through terms. You've got all these videos of people, you know, people making videos about like just the most powerful Pokemon, like funny glitches and stuff. So maybe we can make a video about like the top 10 funniest glitches. People beating the games in interesting ways, of course, is always a fun one. And then eventually, while you're looking through more, your homepage is you'll start getting videos recommended, and then you can see some of the more recommended videos of that niche. So he's got this video of like everything I wish I knew before starting. That's a really good idea. You could maybe take this idea and do it for a different game. When it comes to researching IRL genres, it's like you got to just kind of focus on sort of just the niche. Like the more specific your niche is, the easier it's going to be to come up with ideas. So like we've got all these like random crazy like life hack videos. There's a lot of stuff that people do, all these crazy life hack testing videos. So we got a lot of ideas from this, and you know, this basic format of just testing out life hack ideas is very basic. So we're kind of like just sort of expanding on it and building more onto it. And it's not really something that we expect is going to work, but it's just kind of a starting point. And then from there, you say like, okay, how can you improve it? Well, you could do like specific themes, you know, like this channel is, okay, life hacks for your chores, life hacks for parenting, food hacks. And then from there, you can kind of build on certain ways, like what can you do with the hacks that are interesting, and just, you know, it's just like you got to really be thinking about a very conceptual level. Like, I don't know if this really explains it that well, to be honest, but hopefully this gives you an insight into the process for coming up with video ideas, and we'll give you some tools to really start improving your video idea creation process. Because I think with YouTube, coming up with video ideas is probably one of the most important things for being successful. Like if you have really good ideas, your titles and thumbnails will be really, really easy to figure out. It's going to be really easy to make a good title and a good thumbnail for a video that has a really strong idea. And then just, you know, just be researching creators quite a lot. Like I'm always checking Mr. Beast as well, and seeing things that he's doing, and like other things, like what could you, how could you take this and just make it something completely different to where it's like a much more specific niche. It's a little bit of a tricky subject to teach, so I don't know, just let me know if you thought this was helpful or not. But yeah, I have a lot of just tools and resources that I use, so hopefully that's maybe gets you somewhere in the right direction. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next video.